Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to The Difference and Real Talk with Brian Poduska. I'm Lyndon Wilson, the creator of The Difference. And I usually come on and introduce Brian, talk a little bit about The Difference and what it's all about. We've got a couple of new channels that we're starting up. One of the channels is The Difference, Frisco, The Colony, McKinney, and Prosper. So if you're from those areas, we encourage you to go and join that Facebook group so that you can keep up with the area businesses and what's going on within your community. Got a great show today. We've got an incredible guest. Excited to have her. Excited to talk about what she's involved in and the impact that it's having on our communities. And I encourage each of you that's watching to stick with us, because I think that this is going to be eye-opening when you hear a little bit about what's going on in our communities, and how how there are organizations such as the one we're going to be interviewing today that are working to combat some of the, I'll just say, evil in this world. But today we're going to talk with Brian, and we're going to introduce him here in a minute. But before we do, I wanted to remind everyone that we still are doing the complimentary airfare and hotel. And if you will comment, just put a comment in the comment section that you follow The Difference or you follow Real Talk with Brian Poduska. We will reach out after the show and tell you what you have to do to enter. Everyone that enters does win. This is not a contest. This is just our appreciation, or show of our appreciation for your support in what we're doing at The Difference in supporting our small businesses and supporting our communities. So we'll be putting that up along as we go. Also, in the corner, you're going to see a QR code. That is Brian Poduska's QR code. That's all the links to his different social media platforms, his website, how to follow his show. You can go there if you're interested in trying to learn more about his show and what Brian does with Real Talk and with real property management focus. So before I go and say anything else, I'm going to bring Brian in now, and I'm going to let Brian introduce himself and what he's doing at Real Property Management, and talk a little bit about your show. Brian, how you doing today?
Lennon, I'm doing very well. It's been a crazy few weeks here, but I'm doing great. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How was my audio when I came in? Was it okay, or was it like it used? Okay, so I think I may have solved that problem after.
Yeah, you were good to go. Before we had
many painful months. Yeah.
Hey, it's we learn as we go. That's the mantra of the show, right?
Right. Well, I mean, that's the life of an entrepreneur too, right? I mean, we're kind of living we're living online and on live video our life, how our life works. All the challenges that come up, all the adaptations that we have to go through, the mindset, the self-awareness, everything like that. That's a little bit about what these shows are all about. It gives people that are in our communities a view inside of what goes on in our daily lives and how we handle the challenges of our business and things that go on within our business.
Well, in reality, The Difference is kind of an entrepreneurial venture that started a year and a half ago or so, and before that, in your mind, and it's come a long way. So we've grown and adapted and changed through COVID and all the other challenges we faced. So that's a pretty good comparison, I'd say.
Yep, it is. It is. That's what I've been sharing with everyone. I'm like, hey, if the know, like, and trust factor that we all believe in as an entrepreneur, creating a show, being a part of a show, whether it's a segment or show host, you get to come on and live out your core values, your principles, your business strategies. People get to actually see it. And rather than just maybe hear someone else talk a little bit about you, they get to watch you. You actually had that experience, right? A new client of yours actually saw one of your shows.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I had a nice conversation. It was a great referral from a great referral partner of mine, and said I had been highly recommended from said referral partner, and then she said she did a little bit of research and found the show and watched it and liked it, and it helped in the decision set for decision criteria for her. So yeah, I'm glad people are getting the content and liking it and understanding it, and it can kind of live vicariously. And I say that to all my referral partners. If you want to come on the show, the invitation is out there and the opportunity is there for you. So I'll just touch real briefly here on Real Property Management Focus, where we focus on your real estate investments. We are a full service property management company. And when I say full service, I mean that from the beginning of the potential process of if you're already a property investor and have investment properties, or are thinking about getting into real estate investing, we offer services to help locate, purchase, and acquire that property. Before that, even analyze it. So we have an awesome tool called Wealth Optimizer, which really looks at an investment property from all different angles. Not just cash flow. So obviously cash flow is very important to the investor, but that's not the only thing that makes real estate investment a positive thing. So we look at it from every different angle. On the acquisition piece, then we have the ability to purchase it for you. Obviously, we manage it through its life cycle, find tenants, collect rent, coordinate maintenance, do evictions, do inspections, do full photographic inspections. We do the full service property management piece, and then on the back end, if you want to sell your property, we can do that for you as well. So that is Real Property Management Focus in a nutshell. Today we have a very heavy topic. Oftentimes we have business partners on that they spotlight their business and they have a great service or great product that they have to offer. Today we have a bit of a heavier topic, and it's one that I personally didn't realize was as big a issue or problem in our society as it is. So we're gonna bring our guest in to talk about that. Before we do so, I do want to, while we're still kind of vaguely on the real estate topic, I want to bring in some promotional material from our two of our sponsors, and those are the cooks. So which one do we have first queued up? All right, Carrie.
We're gonna go with Carrie.
That sounds great. So, today's marketplace is crazy in the real estate world. It's heavily weighted towards sellers. There's very few sellers out there and not enough buyers. Very few sellers and way too many buyers, I should say. So anybody who needs some information on what their house may be worth, Carrie is your contact. So Carrie Cook is with the Cavalier Realty Group. You can see her contact information up on the screen, 972-342-5763. She will give you a free comparative market analysis on your home. Carrie is very customer focused. So she listens to your needs, what you want, what you're looking for. She represents both sellers and buyers, so she can help you on either end there. If you're looking at potentially selling your home, or if you're looking to purchase, Carrie works with all kinds of different folks and home prices. So please look up Carrie with the Cavalier Realty Group. Again, 972-342-5763. And her husband, Daniel, owns a roofing company. So Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. Tis the season to look for hail, right? It's hail season is upon us, and we had a hailstorm about a week and a half ago. So I know Daniel's been out busy, putting new roofs on homes, but along with the hail season comes a lot of different roofing companies that aren't locally based, and they flock to the area because they know there's business to be had. Those are the kind of companies you have to watch out for. Daniel is locally based. He started up his own company. He's been doing roofing for several years, but he started his own company at the end of last year, and has really hit the ground running. And what I'll say about Daniel is he's honest, and he will give you an honest opinion of whether your home needs a new roof or not. So if you need to get a hold of Daniel, if you have any hail damage, or if there is any hail damage that presents itself in the next couple months, Daniel is your guy. Cook DFW Roofing and Restoration. You see the phone number there, 833-COOK-DFW, or check out his website at cookdfw.com.
Okay. And then we want to go with Greg now.
We'll do Greg after we let Kelly come in and talk a little bit about. I want to get this issue out there. Again, I said that I wasn't very educated on it. I'm now, after spending some time with Kelly, I'm a little bit more educated on it. But I'm guessing most of our audience is probably like me, a bit in the dark on this topic. And I teased it out a little bit on a social media post. Just promoting this show. The issue we're talking about is human trafficking. So again, a very, very heavy topic. And let's bring Kelly in. Kelly is the Director of Community Impact for TVF, and TVF stands for Treasured Vessels Foundation. So they are a nonprofit organization that is really doing some great things around helping victims and women who've been part of this human trafficking. So Kelly, welcome to the show. Thank you for coming out today.
Thanks for having me.
No, really, really appreciate it. So, like I was saying earlier, everybody or most people have heard of human trafficking or kind of have a vague understanding of what that is. But what I didn't realize, when you hear that and what a little bit ignorant on the topic, self-admittedly, when I hear that, I think of, human trafficking, it's mostly a third world problem. It doesn't exist here in the U.S. Maybe it does, but to a lesser extent. But that's simply not the truth. So you shared some numbers with me before the show. If you can just provide a little bit of background and some statistics that may open folks' eyes to the issue and how pressing it is here in the state of Texas and really across the U.S. And especially here in DFW in particular. So if you could just share some of that background with the audience, that'd be appreciated.
Sure, Brian, you're right. It is. It's in our backyard here in Texas. It's estimated that in the state of Texas right now, there's over 313,000 victims of human trafficking. 79,000 of those are minor and youth sex trafficking victims. That's underage, so under 18, all the way up to 24. In the state of Texas, we rank number 2, not a number to be proud of, but we rank number 2 in the nation for human trafficking. And there's just not enough beds to do restorative care. And so that's where, I don't know if you want me to go into what we do.
Yeah, please do.
So that's where Treasure Vessels Foundation actually bridges the gap. And so what we do is that we provide safe communities to restore survivors of sexual exploitation to achieve their true potential. We were founded in 2016 by our founder, Alicia Bush. She actually stepped out of her successful career in healthcare. She felt called to do something more and went on a faith journey. And so this was something that, in her personal life, she was directed to do from God. And so she since then opened Treasure Vessels Foundation. And we were founded in 2016, and then we opened our very first safe home last year, right before the pandemic in January. And we serve women ages 18 to 24, and they receive care and services, wraparound care, for up to 36 months. We have the current capacity right now. We just moved to a new safe home, so we're expanding this year from 4 beds to 12, and we're going to be able to open up a transitional living space. Our goal is to be able to serve minors. Currently right now, and again, this is an older statistic, but Dallas police actually reported over 400 minor girls that were being trafficked each night in Dallas. That's a big number. And as you can imagine, that's an old statistic. So think about what the pandemic's done. And that's just what they can see. That's not what's going on behind closed doors. And so we're going to be able to open up one of the first long-term restorative residential facilities for minors. Again, that long-term piece is so crucial. There's a statistic out there right now that it says, for just to understand why long-term, right? Why do we need this long-term care? For up to 12 months of any type of a shelter or care or restorative care, there's a recidivism rate, which means that those survivors are going back into the life. There's a recidivism rate of 80%.
Wow.
That's a big number, even after a year. You
Yeah.
take that up to 18 months, which is why we're at that 18 to 36 month mark. And we say 36 months, honestly, it's as long as she needs. We don't necessarily cap it off at 36 months. People just ask, how long is your program? But that 18 month mark, we see that recidivism rate go down to 20%. So what are we seeing is that long-term restorative care, because there's those trauma bonds, coming from, and you would think like somebody gets rescued from human trafficking, it's so horrible. Why in the world would they ever want to go back to it? But there's what's called a trauma bond, and that is so severe that it just takes time and therapy to be able to get through that. And so our program is a 100% mental health focused, but we also do things like education, literacy. We want them to just, graduate from high school, get your GED, let's go to college, let's dream big, and let's think about what you can do, on top of your healing to continue to impact, your community, to continue to just go and be what you were called to do. And again, that's why in our mission statement, we want to be able to restore them to their true potential. Gotcha.
Those are some staggering numbers. 313,000 in the state of Texas alone, I heard you say. That's if you think it's not a problem, or if you were blind to the fact that it's not a problem like I was, that's eye-opening. And I've got, personally, I have two daughters, one of which is 15 years old. She's about to turn 16. She's a twin. She has a twin brother. Obviously, also I'm about to turn 16. I also have an 11-year-old girl. So, this topic, it hits home to me. And our audience are, we target entrepreneurs, business owners that are probably in a very similar situation. So this topic is very relevant, and especially for those with younger children. You were telling me a story of an example of human trafficking earlier before the show. Let me take a step back and can you just define kind of what human trafficking is, I guess, to level set the audience? And then I'd love it if you could share that example, and some of the other examples of how young children are pulled into the human trafficking element, just given situational and predatory type behaviors to watch out for. Because I think that's something that me as a parent, again, I know of a lot of the online tricks and trades of predators, but to hear it from somebody who's involved in helping folks through that would be important.
Sure. By definition, sex trafficking is a type of human trafficking. So there's sex and labor, but you also see inside the labor too as well. It can bleed over into sex, and it's a form of modern day slavery. It occurs when a trafficker exploits with force, fraud, or coercion to make them perform commercial sex. And so that's really the true definition of that. In the case of a minor, you don't have to prove it. And so, one of the stories we had talked about earlier, I think there's a lot of misconceptions. I know before I learned, quick background on me, I joined TVF back in April of 2019. So I am approaching my 2 years this April. I'm very excited. Such a privilege to work for this organization. And prior to that, I was actually kind of getting back into, wanting to be back in full-time work in my career. And I had gone to a gala, and it was put on for Treasure Vessels. And that's where I heard the message. And honestly, coming out of that, it was like, I just felt like I had been under a rock. It's like, how did I not know this was happening?
Right.
And how easy it really is for my own kids to get caught up in stuff.
Right.
Because really they say, who's the target? It's anybody that's vulnerable. You take that, everybody at some point in their life, whether you're a child, teenager, adult, can be vulnerable. And, and then you have to also ask the question like, well, how does it happen? And so, you think about you hear, think kidnappings, right? Maybe it's kidnapping. I'm afraid that my kid's going to get, taken and trafficked from Target, or, it's, gosh, I'm just afraid because I just think that, somebody put a zip tie on my mirror in the Target parking lot. So therefore that's a sign. And I think those are a lot of misconceptions that are continuing to be out there. And so therefore we're not staying educated on what it is.
Right.
Trafficking is a very slow growth, manipulative, business. And what I mean by that is those traffickers are, they recruit in high schools, they recruit online, specifically social media, backroom chats, gaming and chats on gaming. There's just a lot of, it's not this, like club and grab the girl and run or grab the boy and run. It's this, they build a relationship, and to where your child now trusts them. And for instance, I told you a story in the beginning of, how easy this is to happen, right? So single mom, maybe she's got a couple of kids and her daughter, she's on her phone, right? I mean, this is, such a pacifier these days, right? For our kids and for us. And so she's on her phone and she connects with another young girl on a social media channel. And so they develop a relationship, right? How many times have we friended people that we don't know on social media? And so they start talking. And next thing you know, 2 months later, they want to meet up. Well, say her and her mom gets in an argument and they say a few choice words. And she says, I'm leaving. I'm going to my friend's house to spend the night. And she said, fine. So she leaves, she shows up, and she gets to the door. And not only is she greeted by this new friend, but also an adult male. And no longer is she a friend anymore. And that's how easy it is to get involved. It can start so innocent, but it's that slow growth building manipulation. And so again, I mean, keeping our kids safe, and a lot of it's education and awareness. Know who their friends are, know who they're talking to online. And a lot of times it may not be another child. And so, it's just really being aware of things, knowing what's on their phone, knowing who they're talking with, who they're chatting with. I look at it as, if I'm paying for this, I need to know what's happening on it while you're under my roof. And so, and it's just a lot of it's awareness and just being alert on who people are.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I think that's a good way to look at it. Like, hey, I'm paying for your phone. I need to know everything that's going on that phone because. Yeah, just the whole grooming topic. It's so easy to do if you can hide behind a computer screen or a phone screen and pose as a friend, as a young child, as a whatever persona you want to create online, you can do it, and that's what's so frightening to me as a parent. It's it's so easy to do, and it's they know the right things to say to get their in, so to speak. And once that's established and there's that false trust factor that's being bonded out there, online or wherever, it becomes an easy thing to do and an easy thing to fall for if you're not specifically looking for it. And, most young girls are not, they have an innocent mindset and an innocent approach to things. So, it's a little unnerving as a parent to have to, say, hey, watch out for this, and this as a parent. But the reality is we have to be vigilant about it.
Absolutely. And, and I get it. Listen, I mean, like I think about, we work, we do things, we're busy, life is busy, and I totally understand. And so I think sometimes it's just good as a parent to just slow down and say, what are my kids doing? Who are they talking with? Who are their friends? And just really knowing those things, because that could help, and again, awareness, education. One conversation with your child could totally change a potential, avenue they could be going down.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I think that helps put it into perspective for folks that, that may not have realized that it's an issue or always thought, like, ignorantly, like myself, thought, well, it's not an issue here in the United States, certainly not in the nice DFW community, but 400 minors, you said, nightly are being trafficked in the DFW area, and that's all that's known about. So yeah, the reality is that number is a lot bigger. So it's an issue, and I'm glad we're able to get that socialized today and hopefully make some more folks aware of it. Tell me a little bit more about, what your or what the TVF vision is as far as I know you guys have a land acquisition that you've done. You've got some plans for a building. You're trying to get minors involved. Tell us a little bit more about those plans and exactly what what services you guys offer to the women who have been affected. And then what we'll do is we'll transition to giving our other sponsor a little bit of airtime, as well as some real estate seminars that we have. And then I want to come back and talk about some ways that folks can help contribute to this cause through some events that you guys have coming up.
Sure. So Treasure Vessels. So like I said, we opened our first safe home last year. And so this year, so we went from 4 beds, we're expanding to 12 by the end of this year and opening a transitional living space. And why that's important is we want to continue, we've already identified that we need to continue that mental health support after they finish phase 1. But we want to continue that journey as their transitional living space. That actually might be a foreign term for people, but that's like, think about like even like a halfway house, right? That's where you're kind of coming and going part-time. So you might be working, going to school, but then you're also receiving that mental health support and care. And that's our transitional living. So that's where we go from wraparound care with us to that second phase. So that's what we hope to open up by the end of this year. And then in the next 3 years, we want to be able to open up a drop-in center. And we think about these things almost as like our olive branch. You know, a lot of times people have asked like, okay, so how do you get your survivors? You know, it's law enforcement. We have others in our space, like another organization called Rescue Her, that are advocates. And so, you know, in families, we've had family referrals too. So it can be a number of things, but typically it falls within usually those areas. And so one of the things that we want to be able to do is open a drop-in center, have a medical outreach program on the streets, to be able to service those, you know, just some minor needs. And again, these are all areas of just, you know, kind of extending the olive branch. A lot of times these survive, most of the time, actually, they have no idea that a program like ours is out there. Right. And sometimes they don't even know they need that yet. And so just being able to start through, you know, introducing those things. So to be able to open the, you know, drop-in center, medical outreach program, expand our bed count from 12 to 20 in the next couple of years. And then by 2024, open our very first campus for minors for long-term restorative care. And again, I mean, you know, as we talked about before with the restorative care, it's just such a crucial piece. You know, we see in the news, right? Like 53 kids were rescued, and we get excited. You know, those are exciting things. But we also have to beg the question, where do they go? Has anybody ever asked that question? You rescue them, but where do they go back to? Right. And the answer is majority of them go back out and get back into life, or their trafficker finds them. And so it's not this rosy, like going home and we're going to just get all the counseling and the therapy we need. It's just not like that. And so to be able to have programs like this, you know, as we are in touch with law enforcement and CPS and things like that, especially as we serve the minors, will just be such an opportunity to be able to serve them in that long-term restorative care.
Yeah, it basically breaks that cycle of, you know, in, out, in, out, in, out. And like you said, not even those that have been impacted directly don't even know that your services exist. So that's, you know, the more that we can spread the word and get that out there, you know, the better for all involved in society in general. So that's great. No, thank you. I mean, thanks for providing that vision, because that is great. And obviously it's going to take quite a bit of help and donations to get there. So let's come back on that topic here shortly, and we can talk about some events that you guys have coming up to fundraise. And obviously your information has been scrolling throughout the show. So if anybody is interested in donating, you know, please look up all that information at the bottom and reach out to Kelly directly. In the meantime, let's shift gears a little bit right now. We're going to talk about our other sponsor, Mr. Greg Holdberg. Greg is the owner of Liberator Health Insurance. So Greg's offering is awesome. It's unique in that it offers you the choice to go to whatever doctor you need to go to, and really kind of gives you the power to negotiate what your terms would be as far as payment goes. So Greg has a deal of the week that he likes to share. So here is this week's deal of the week. A roofer got great coverage for, look at that number, $170 per month. Includes an HSA, so a health savings account that will grow to provide $2,500 in healthcare benefits. So $170 a month for health insurance is virtually unheard of. And again, that's an offering that puts the power in your hands as far as a healthcare consumer. So if you need or are thinking about getting into a different healthcare plan, please reach out to Greg Holdberg, owner of Liberator Health Insurance. His information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, but you can reach out to him via phone call or text at 214-886-4688, or check him out at liberatorhealthinsurance.com. So thanks to Greg for being a sponsor of the show. Also want to share some information. We teased it out a little bit last week. We've talked about this before in the past. We do a real estate seminar. So it's basically, if you have $150,000 or more of equity in your home and are thinking about getting into real estate investments, we can help you out with that. We have a team. Brian Dobbs is the creator of the team. He's been on The Difference before. He's been on the show to highlight the seminar. So I just want to talk about it a little bit. We have two that are on the schedule and coming up. Thursday, April 22nd at Jake's Burgers and Beer in Frisco, right across the street from the U.S. Soccer Hall of Fame in downtown Frisco. And then also on Tuesday, April 27th at Main Event in Plano. These seminars are free of charge. They're from 6 to 8 p.m. We will have food and drink provided just to entice you to come, free of charge. Again, it's more of just an education seminar. And the idea is if you're a little bit lukewarm or thinking about getting into real estate investing or want to, but don't necessarily know how, we have a team of folks that can help get you across that finish line and just really start getting active in real estate investing. So we have a panel discussion. We have a brief presentation, no obligation at the end. If hopefully you're a little bit more educated, and if you don't want to move forward, like I said, there's no charge or no obligation. So come on out, check us out Thursday, April 22nd at Jake's Burgers and Beer, 6 to 8 p.m. or Tuesday, April 27th, same time, 6 to 8 p.m. at Main Event Plano. Okay, so that being said, let's talk, Kelly, about what you guys have coming up as far as fundraising opportunities, fun events, things like that people can get involved in, and just tell us about the events and tell us about what the dates are and how to get involved.
Sounds good. Our biggest and most exciting event coming up is on April 12th. It's a Monday, and it is our first Sticks and Bricks golf tournament benefiting TVF. And it'll be in McKinney at Oak Hollow course. And we are still looking for, and again, this is actually going to be raising funds specifically for our capital efforts. We had 5 acres that was deeded to us that sits on a bigger amount of property that we can continue to purchase and own. But the 5 acres initially, we can start building on that. We're just raising funds to do that. And this will be where we'll have our first minors campus. And so that I had talked about earlier. And so this golf tournament, like I said, it's April 12th, and we're still looking for sponsorships, our title sponsor, and then also a dinner sponsor. And so if you go to our website, treasurevesselsfoundation.org, you'll see this, this picture right here on there. Click on that. It'll go to the registration website with all the details. So like I said, that's coming up, and we've got sponsorships left anywhere from $125 up to $5,000. And so it's $500 for a team if you want to play, love to play golf. We're still signing up players, so you can go there and do that. We have a side promotion, or not promotion, but a side raffle going on that's going to be really fun. We're going to have things like Cannons for a Cause out there. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but they shoot the ball from the cannon, so you can get a raffle ticket for that. Or not a raffle ticket, excuse me, just a regular ticket for that. But then we have a raffle item going on with our helicopter ball drop. And what that is our helicopter ball drop is where we're going to have a helicopter come down towards the end of the golf tournament. And our goal is to sell 1,500 of these raffle tickets, so $20 a piece, or 5 for $100. And you do not have to be there to win. You do not have to play. So if you just want to support TVF with this, the prize is $2,500 cash. So a helicopter is going to come down, hopefully drop 1,500 or more balls out, and the ball with your number on it is going to, the one that gets closest to the hole or near the hole wins, and they win $2,500 cash. So it's going to be a really cool thing, and we're excited to have it there. But again, it's a side raffle. You can also find it on this exact website. So again, go to our website, treasurevesselsfoundation.org, click on the golf picture that you see on your screen, and you can either sign up for a sponsorship to play, or for the raffle, which is really exciting. So it's going to be a really neat tournament. We're excited. And then we also others that we have coming up. Let me pull it up so I don't miss anything. On May 1st, we're beneficiaries to the Allen Food and Wine Festival in Allen. And so if you go to our website, we have under events, you can go there and click and get a ticket. For that, it was really fun. I was there last year. May 8th, Mother's Day weekend, we've got Run for the Rosé, and we're beneficiaries to that as well. And that's in McKinney. And then May 28th, we're actually the beneficiaries to the Dallas Association of Petroleum Landmen. I think you can actually still register their first annual clay shoot. And so they're doing that. It's it's on our website, but you can go there, and I think a team is like 1,500, but then we're the beneficiaries for that event as well.
Very cool.
That's coming up here in the next couple of months.
Lyndon, that one sounds right up your alley. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I was paying attention when she said that.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
Well, you had me at helicopter ball drop. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I just want to watch that. I want to see.
Do you have live video so if you don't play, you can
We'll
actually
do
watch
live
the ball
video
drop?
for sure on that. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I was telling you earlier, I've been in golf fundraisers and events that they'll drop a bucket of balls off of the roof of the clubhouse and it rolls to the practice green, and whatever's ball rolls closest. But I've never seen a helicopter drop a bucket of balls, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, we've actually got some social media on our social media channels, Facebook and Instagram. I think we've got a video that we did that just kind of shows the balls coming out. It's really neat. So I'm excited to see it.
That sounds like fun. You should have a paid spot in the helicopter too, like you can ride shotgun for another sponsorship.
Oh, I know. I was going to say, actually, our helicopter sponsor, Think Multifamily, they're going to be able to have a representative ride in the helicopter.
Okay, there you go. Very cool. Well, I like I said, I think we're gonna wrap up the show, but it's such a heavy topic that it's today's show has been very different, and like I said, it hits home for me as a parent of three, and especially two young ladies. It's eye-opening to me to hear the statistics, and I think what you guys are doing to help those that have fallen prey and been victims of human trafficking and sexual abuse in that realm is fantastic. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on the show and socializing the issue, hopefully educating our audience as well. Please, if you guys out there that are listening, if you want to contribute to a great cause, this is it. You've got all the information scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Please reach out to Kelly directly. They'd be happy to take whatever you guys can offer. Again, Kelly, go ahead and tell us again what the date of that golf tournament is, and we'll sign off from there.
Well, before we go. Go ahead. Go ahead, Kelly. But before we go, I want to make another announcement.
Okay, cool.
Go ahead, Kelly.
Okay, sorry. Monday, April 12th at 1 p.m. shotgun start.
Perfect. Hit it, Lennon. What you got, man?
Well, we wanted to let everybody know we're announcing this on your show, Brian, but Treasured Vessels Foundation and The Difference are partnering and collaborating together to help them. They're going to be a big part of what we're doing. Obviously, they impact our communities. That's what The Difference is all about. Whether you're a small business or just a nonprofit, any sort of community organization. And so after having representatives of Treasured Vessels on several shows so far, I wanted to get in contact with Kelly, and we've been working together to try to figure out a way to help bring them more awareness, help find more sponsors for them, because this is a very noble and needed cause. And so we want to be able to do everything we can at The Difference to help Treasured Vessels. And so we're going to be doing some spotlight videos with Treasured Vessels. We're going to have them much like what she's doing here on your show today, Brian, as a contributor to come on and talk about their events and what's going on. And So Kelly, I want to welcome you to The Difference. Thank you so much for giving us a chance to help you guys. I appreciate that. And I want to do everything we can. Brian, I'm like you, man. When the first show that we had on human trafficking, I had this complete misconception of what it was all about. I really did. And, you know, I told Kelly the other day, I said, I don't mean to sound callous. I just didn't know better. But it was like, that's them. That's not us, right? That's not my neighbors. That's not my community. That's not my state or my country. That's not us. Right. And then you start to hear and you start to realize that it's not just sex trafficking. A lot of times it all leads to that, like Kelly said. So it really, you know, it kind of is it's a serious topic, but I get excited when I know that there's people out there like Kelly and the people that work for Treasured Vessels that are doing so much to help everybody. And we need to be, our communities need to be more aware, not only of what's going on, but how we can help stop it. So that's why we wanted to partner with Treasured Vessels, and hopefully, Kelly, whatever we can do to help, we're here for you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited. We're excited to be a part.
That's awesome news. I'm glad we rolled it out on my show. I didn't realize we had a larger, broader partnership. So that's
saved it just for you, Brian. Just for you.
Well, welcome to the family, Kelly.
Yes, thank you.
All right. Cool. Well, on a good note, I guess we'll end the show because that's a wonderful partnership. Look forward to that going forward. Look forward to seeing you guys all next Thursday, 1 to 2 p.m. Real Talk with this guy, Brian Poduska. Until then, see you guys.